My dear students of Honors 4th year, hope you are well by the grace of Allah, staying home, continuing your studies, and spending quality time with your family and friends. I think it is a blessing for us to spend quality time with our nearest and dearest one, and to utilize the time properly. Anyhow, we will start a new novel today. The name of the novel is The Grass is Singing. Name of the novel has taken from T.S. Eliot's Wastelands. It's my very favorite poem of T.S. Eliot. And the writer is Doris Lessing. The Grass is Singing is the first novel published in 1950 by British Nobel Prize winning author Doris Lessing. She was born to British parents in October 22, 1991. Her family then moved to southern Rhodesia, the previous name. Now it is called Zimbabwe, where she remained until moving in 1949 to London, England. Lessing was awarded Nobel Prize in 2007. That means we have given a short description of Doris Lessing. The novel. Now, first I'll tell you about the setting. The setting was southern Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe. And the characters in this novel, the main character, 5 main characters and some short characters. The characters are limited in this novel. And theme. There are various themes in this novel. First, theme of colonialism. Then, racial discrimination. And the novel is based on apartheid society and overall revenge. From the very beginning, that means when we started Heart of Darkness, this novel is also based on colonial experience. Then we read Dr. Aziz, that means a passage to India. This is also a novel of colonial rule. If we notice, we observe that the explosion of imperialism was first at North America, then in Indian subcontinent, and later Africa. And Africa is still victim of this imperialism or colonial rule. The characters in The Grass is Singing. Number 1, Mary Turner. The novel begins with Mary Turner's death, and the plot largely revolves around her character. Number 2, Dick Turner. Mary's husband. Born in the suburbs of Johannesburg, he is extraordinary unsuccessful farmer. In personal life, he is very gentle. Number 3, Charles Slaughter, a neighbor of the Turners and a working-class Englishman who previously worked as a grocer in London. He made a fortune through tobacco farming. He is selfish and strategic. He wants to take over Dick's farm to increase his own profits. He plays the role of white people in Rhodesia. After Mary's murder, conspires to cover up Mary's relationship with Moses. Englishman who has recently moved to southern Rhodesia after being inspired by his cousin's success in tobacco farming. And the last one, Moses. He is a native man educated in a missionary school. He has a large muscular physique and is employed by Dick as a farm worker. Many strikes Moses across the Mary, that as overseer of the farm worker during Dick's first illness. Although Moses is not actually rude in reality, he is not afraid of Mary and refuses to abide by the social conventions governing relationships between the native people and the white settlers. He is aware of the injustice of colonialism and willing to stand up the white people. The relationship he develops with Mary towards the end of the novel appears somewhat affectionate. It is not clear why Moses behaved so kindly to someone who has treated him so badly. At the end of the novel, he approaches Mary on the veranda and stabs her to death. We never learn his final fate. Though he confessed his crime, the other characters suggest that it is almost certain he will be hanged. That means the plot of the novel is basically based on racial discrimination, and we have given the picture of man. His parents were white. Her early life was not happy. In the course of time, after the death of her two siblings, she tries her best to make a intense relationship with her parents, and she was successful. And ultimately, her parents sent her to a boarding school for higher education. There he gained higher education and she passes her days according to her own wishes. When she was 25, she spends a life of free will, like a free will agent. Though her known or familiar friends are got married and they lead a happy familiar life, but she was not thinking of marrying, and she was the slave of her own willingness. But sometimes her friends or her well-wishers criticizes at her for her free will movement, and sometimes they scolds her for her lifestyle. Being heartened by her friends, he decided to marry, and hastily he married a man who was 20 years older than her, and it was actually a unhappy marriage bonding. And within a very short time, it turns into divorce. The marriage turns into divorce. And one day she was watching a movie, and she introduces with Dick Turner. Though they are not fall in love with each other, they choose each other. Dick Turner, a farmer, returned to his home, but after a few months, he proposes to marry Turner for marriage, and Mary willingly consent to marry Dick Turner. After marrying, they return to Dick Turner's house, but Mary was so disappointed to see the financial condition of Dick Turner. Though Dick Turner tries his best to improve his condition, but he was victim of fate. He tried his best, but several times he is failure. So Mary Turner tries her best to help him. She her job, and ultimately this marriage proves that it is also an unhappy bonding, and in the course of time she involves with Moses, whom she hurts in earlier, but later there is a relationship grows in them, but we cannot guess what kind of relationship. Many critics have given their many critics given their opinions, but there is a wide gap between the native and the white settlers, and Doris Lessing wanted to give us a lesson that we want to build a world which will be racial discrimination free, apartheid free, and it will be a beautiful world for the next generation. যেটা আমাকে মনে করিয়ে দেয়, সুকান্ত ভট্টাচার্যের কবিতাটা তোমরা পড়েছো কিনা জানি না, এটা যখন পড়ি ডোরিস লেসিংস এর মোটিভ শিশু, তাকে ছেড়ে দিতে হবে স্থান। জীর্ণ পৃথিবীতে ব্যর্থ, মৃত আর ধ্বংসস্তূপ পিঠে চলে যেতে হবে আমাদের। চলে যাব, তবু আজ যতক্ষণ দেহে আছে প্রাণ, প্রাণপণে পৃথিবীর সব সরাব জঞ্জাল। এ বিশ্বকে এ শিশুর জন্য বাসযোগ্য করে যাব আমি। নবজাতকের কাছে এ আমার দৃঢ় অঙ্গীকার। That means Shukanta also wanted a world যেটা হবে এর সেই প্রচেষ্টাই এখানে ছিল যে আমাদের এই যে বর্ণ বৈষম্য, আমাদের মানে ধর্মীয় বৈষম্য, আমাদের পলিটিক্যাল বৈষম্য, আসলে কোনো কিছুই একটা সুন্দর পৃথিবী গড়ার অন্তরায় হতে পারে না। কিন্তু আমরা সবাই সেটার ভিকটিম, যেটা কিছুদিন আগেও আমরা দেখেছি আমেরিকান হোয়াইট পুলিশ কর্তৃক জর্জ ফ্লয়েডকে নির্যাতন, এবং নির্যাতনের পরে সে কিন্তু মারা যায়। তার পরবর্তী এফেক্টটা তোমরা নিশ্চয়ই দেখেছ। প্রোটেস্ট করেছে কিন্তু শুধু কালোরা না, তার সাথে সাদারাও যোগ দিয়েছে। তার মানে সুন্দর একটা পৃথিবীর জন্য বর্ণ বৈষম্য কোনো ব্যাপার না, এটা আমাদের মানসিকতার ব্যাপার। এই উপন্যাসটার মূল উপজীব্য। তো নেক্সট ক্লাসে আমরা বাংলায়, যেটা না হলে তোমাদের ভালো লাগে না, পুরো উপন্যাসটা সংক্ষেপে বলবো, এবং ক্যারেক্টার্সগুলো সম্বন্ধে বা ক্যারেক্টার্সের ডেসক্রিপশন খুবই সংক্ষেপে তোমাদেরকে দিয়ে দিব। So students, stay connected, and I think it is the last class of this session. That means our next class will be held after the vacation of Eidul Azha. Wishing you a very happy, stay blessed.